Hi, my name is Dr. Erica Steele. I'm a holistic doctor and founder of Holistic Family Practice. This video is about why holistic healthcare is different. Most people are used to our allopathic Western medical approach. Um, Patient doesn't feel well, patient goes to the doctor looks at a collection of symptoms, diagnoses the patient XYZ, gives the patient a prescriptive agent, maybe tells them a couple things like lose weight, and maybe sends them for additional tests, maybe sends them to a specialist, maybe recommends a procedure, a surgery, etc. Or the doctor says, I don't know, maybe it's in your head, right? And I've heard that many a times before from people coming into our practice. And so that is not what holistic healthcare is. Holistic healthcare is very complex. So the first visit, the person comes in, they pretty much discharge their health history. Oftentimes, people that come to see me have been to a lot of different doctors. They've been to a lot of specialists. They've done a lot of researching on their own. Some are educated more than others, and they're coming in and they're really just looking for a different response or a different answer. Holistic medicine, in the first visit, it's all about what the patient tells me. So I'm listening and I'm really being with them, really being present with them, hearing them, feeling them, experiencing them, and trying to empathize and understand what has got them to this point. From there, I'm going to get data. So I'm going to get medical records. I'm going to maybe draw some labs. I'm going to send some labs off. Maybe I'm going to get diagnostics done from other providers. And that gives me all of the framework to the case. So then in the second visit, which is called a review of findings, I'm going to assess all the information gathered from the first visit, as well as in my fact finding in between the first and the second visit. And so as I'm looking at all of that information, then I'm assessing it, and then I'm creating a care plan based off of that. And so the care plan has a lot of different factors in it. I'm looking at their lifestyle habits, I'm looking at their diet, I'm looking at their relationships, I'm looking at their boundaries, I'm looking at their mental emotional state. I'm also looking at physically, I'm looking at the relationship that one organ system has to another. So in allopathic medicine, it's very siloed. So you have, cardiologist, you have an endocrinologist, you have, a hematologist, a gastroenterologist. Everybody is very siloed and they're specialists in their own field. And that works in a disease management model. But in a health management model, we look at the relationship that all things have. So if somebody has poor coping mechanisms and they have high stress, it's very difficult to take that person and teach them what it means to have a healthy diet, and then teach them how to implement that healthy diet until we get the stress levels down, right? And if the stress levels are caused from some relationship stressor, then we've got to come up with a new way of looking at this relationship stressor, in order to, so that they're not victimized, in order to bring the stress down, in order to be able to have the energy, because we only have a certain level of energy, to look at the diet and then, work those things, right? Also too, if a person's not sleeping well, right? So we've got to get them sleeping, because sleeping is to repair and heal. We've got to get them rehydrated. We have to get them prioritizing their health and looking at themselves in a different way. So there's a lot of different mitigating factors. We don't just look at one thing. We don't just look at the physical, because if we're just looking at the physical, we're going to miss some things. And my goal always going into a case is to teach people how to implement these things into a lifestyle, not just always be, the person. I'm not a guru. I'm not, I'm a teacher, because that's what a doctor is. But my job is to teach a person how to implement this in their life. I always say that, you're going to be in your body longer than I'm going to be in practice. So it behooves me and it behooves you for me to teach you how to implement this into your life. Now, with that being said, right, so waking people up for the first time, you know, can sometimes lead to a little bit of, we call it spiritual arrogance, if you will, where people now think, oh, they've got a little bit of knowledge, so now all of a sudden they've got it all figured out. And so there are levels and layers to healing, and that's really important. I mean, where I'm at now in my healing process, I wasn't even at a year ago, and it's just because I continue to do the work and continue to, work on myself and do those deep dives. And so there's always more work to do because we live in an infinite universe, of course. And so I'm grateful to be able to serve so many people in the Hampton Roads area as well as beyond, to really help guide them through the process of healing and connection. And so they're able to see how all these moving parts of self all work together as a team, and explaining and teaching them exactly how the organ systems relate to each other, teaching them about the health of the liver, the upper GI system, the small intestines, et cetera. So really teaching people how to implement these things, even on a physical level, and how the relationship these particular organ systems have to each other. So holistic health is very much empowerment. It's not about fear. It's not about, oh my gosh, if you don't do this or that, this is going to happen. Of course, those conversations. If you don't change your diet, this is what can happen. If you don't do these things, this is what can happen. However, we teach from a very empowered perspective, where it's like, okay, so I'm going to show you what the challenges are, and then also teach you what we need to do in order to remove these challenges. Now, and some of these things are very subtle. It's not always just like hard and fast. Like a lot of people come in and they're taskmasters and they're in the action mode. And a part of what it is with those type A personalities is that they're moving so fast, they don't even feel, they're not even connected to their bodies. And if you don't connect to your bodies and you're always in action mode and you're not feeling, you can do a lot more damage, because the stress, the internalized stress, the body can't handle. Especially a woman's hormonal system is very intricate, and the adrenal glands, which are our stress glands, can't withstand that constant action mode. I tell people a lot, you're you're a human being, not a human doing. And so we don't want to put your health on a to-do list. It's very individualized holistic healthcare, which is what I love about it so much. It's individualized, it's result driven. We use a lot of data in our practice to be able to facilitate those results. So we incorporate the science part, the part that we can prove or disprove, but there's a lot of nuance to more of, the spiritual side of it, more of the connection. When I say spiritual, it's more of the connection with self in a human form, and it's more, connection to source energy, and more connection to what it means to live a healthy life. And again, whatever vehicle you use that through, religious vehicle, use that through, it's always applies. And I'm very sensitive to speaking from the confounds, even though I'm speaking more in a universal stance in this video. I'm always very sensitive to whatever religious path a person chooses. That's another thing in holistic healthcare. It's not my job to impose my view onto anybody else. It's to help educate within your realm of comfort, in your realm of boundary. So if your message is from the teachings of Jesus, Jesus talked a lot about, being healthy and what it means to be healthy and what it means to live a healthy life, as well as many other paths as well. And Jesus also was about ending suffering. And so pathos, root word of pathology. Pathology is the study of disease. Pathos, it means suffering in Latin. And so we really want to end our own internal suffering. And so it's really our personal obligation to transform these different things that are not working with our health, so that we can really live our purpose and our mission here on the planet while we're here. We can live a truly self-expressed, authentic life. And that's what I love about holistic healthcare so much. It's really helping people to live a fully expressed and authentic life. So if you are prepared for that journey and you want my help with it, please check out our practice in the comments section. You can also visit our website and book a consultation. I treat people all over the world, holisticfamilypracticeva.com and /get started. And also we'll include that in the link. So thank you so much for helping me and trusting me, rather, to help you and your family live a natural, healthy life.